Carolyn Cochran uses she was a state worker that used her spirituality in a stealth way, you know, finding the right business buzzwords, you know, self-awareness instead of spirituality, those kinds of things. And notice a great difference, that she could reach their heart. She could reach that soul potential, and she could bring about change into, you know, as far as them communicating with each other on that level. Because usually in the business world, everything is cut and dry, you know, and I'm going to cut your throat. And it's just bringing them into that awareness that come from the heart. And so she's a leadership training consultant with 30 years in the field of training and development. And she's also considers herself an occasional artist and creativity advocate. She's here to talk today. Her TED Talk, well, it's Sacramento, Soul Talk, is Uncovering Your Creative Gifts. Put your hands together and welcome Carolyn.
Thank you. Thank you. Am I live? Yes, I am. Okay. As in TED Talks, we're timed here, so. I am really happy to be here. This is a real treat for me. As JG mentioned, I'm a trainer by profession with the state and now with private consulting. So getting up in front of groups is not hard for me, but doing it in this venue is somewhat new and also just wonderful. It's like I get to be out. My spirituality gets to be out. So today I want to talk to you about creativity. And so are you a creative person? If somebody asked you, probably in this group more so than groups I usually talk to, but if somebody asked you to describe yourself in one word, would it be creative? A lot of people say no because they equate it with artistic. Oh, I'm not creative. I'm not, you know, there's those creative people, but that's not me, right? Well, so I'm here today to challenge your thinking about the word creativity and to come away with a new knowing of your own expression of creativity, really what that is for you. And why is that important? It's important because when you are expressing your own unique creative force and energy, you are enthusiastic, you are energized, you are alive, you are joyful, and that's contagious. And that's what can change the world. You know, one small little piece at a time by what you vibrate out, being in your full creative self. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's talk a little bit about the definitions of creativity. So what would be some definitions of creativity? What is that? This is group participation. I'm a trainer. You got to talk.
Tapping into the divine.
Tapping into the divine. New ideas. Yes. Self-expression. Imagination. Love it. This is a really, really evolved group. Penny?
Creating something from nothing.
Creating something from nothing. I love that. Yeah, some of the things that I thought about, that some of the non-traditional types of creativity or ways that creativity shows up, I was thinking of the something from nothing, somebody who is a creative problem solver, who can come up with that absolutely amazing, innovative solution that nobody ever thought of. I'm gonna call out my poor husband. You know, he's an engineer and an inventor, an amazing inventor. And he actually taught me something that I've used in some of my training classes where I talk about creativity and innovation with government workers. Is that an oxymoron or what? But what he told me, he says, when I go to invent something, what I do is I take two things that are completely opposite or not connected at all, and I try to figure out what I can make out of them. So the example he gave me was, okay, say you take bicycles. Take a bicycle and a toaster. They have nothing to do with each other. But he said, okay, if you combine them, you could come up with all kinds of different things. But one example would be a heated bicycle seat. Now, I don't know if anybody really would appreciate a heated bicycle seat, but you know, you keep putting those impossible, crazy ideas out and see what comes from that. That's creativity. I think so many times we get into this paradigm of creativity means you draw and paint and you're an artist, right? We compare or we combine creativity with doing art. That definitely is a form of creative expression. But there's so many different ways. So that innovative thinking or something from nothing, you know, you take a bicycle and a toaster and you get a heated bicycle seat, something from nothing. Also, what about a teacher? How many of you have a teacher in your past that you remember that really made an impression on you? And that person probably doesn't even know it, right? And what kind of creativity does it take for that person day after day to show up and manage a classroom, larger and larger classrooms full of children, and try to stimulate their minds and have a positive impact on them in their lives? Huge creativity. And we all remember, right? We all have one of those teachers, if not several. What about somebody who can walk into a kitchen and open the refrigerator and open the pantry and create a delicious meal from just what's there? That's an artistry, that's creative, and that's nourishing, literally nourishing people with food. Amazing. Or the person who has that home that you walk into and it's like a pair of arms comes out and just gives you this big hug. The person who can create that space that just embraces you and loves you. And you don't know exactly what it is. Well, yeah, they have nice furniture and it's arranged nice, but there's that squishy, wonderful energy that's in there that just says love, right? That's creative. So I encourage you to stretch your thinking about what creativity really is. What is it that we each have to give that spreads those ripples in the pond out? And we all have a responsibility, I think, and a passion and a mission to express our own unique brand of creativity. That's our responsibility. My example, when I started thinking about this, I thought, well, yeah, the obvious one is I do art, and I love that. But one of the other things that I know that I do is I bring people together. It seems to be one of the things that I have a spiritual group. It started off as we have Faith in Action at our church, you know, and it started off as a group like that. And then we just love each other so much and we have such a good connection that I've hosted this group in our home twice a month for years. And so I think one of my spiritual or my creative gifts is bringing people together and facilitating the connections and the learning and the sharing. And what I realized was that I've been so caught up with some family stuff. I've got aging parents that I'm having to travel to San Diego for long periods of time to take care of, and probably a lot of you can relate to that. And so it's taking me away from that piece that feeds me and feeds others, that is my creative expression. So I was noticing that I'm missing that. So it was something for me personally to pay attention to. So I have a quote. I love quotes. By the way, the quote's on your chair are from me. Just for extra food for thought as you leave here, I always like to give people something to take away. Yeah, great dancers, actually. Yeah, Twyla Tharp and her name's Martha Graham. Yes. So here's a quote. You can be an artist who works with oil paints or marble, sure, but there are artists who work with numbers, business models, and customer conversations. Art is about intent and communication, not substance. So, you know, I'm using art and creativity interchangeable because, you know, like I say, we pigeonhole art in you know, doing paintings, which is a piece of it, but not all of it. So what I want to do, I really am committed to being of service. You know, you don't spend 30 plus years in the public sector without being committed to being of service. And my goal here is to have you have some time to reflect and have something to take away. You've all given yourself the gift of time today just by being here. And so I want to give you the opportunity to go inside for a little bit. So what I'd like to do is lead you on a little guided meditation and a little writing activity. You have the 3x5 cards. You should have had one at your seat. If you don't have one, let us know, because we have some extras in the back, and you have a pen. So we'll get to that in just a second, but first I want you to we're going to do a little bit of getting quiet. So I want you to either discover, rediscover, reconnect with what your own personal creative expression is, and it's the bursting forth. What is that in you that wants to burst forth? So get comfortable, close your eyes, take a nice deep breath all the way down to your toes, and let it out. Just really get quiet and centered and be here now. And I want you to think about that place where time stands still, where you lose all track of time because you are totally in your bliss. You are doing that thing that just feeds you, and you know in feeding you, it feeds others. You're just in that space and that situation where you know that your gifts are flowing. So, where are you? What are you doing? Perhaps who are you with? What is the gift of creativity that expresses through you when you get that feeling of being in your bliss? Your own unique, creative way of expressing in this world. Really get a sense of it. All right, take another nice deep breath. Let it out. And now, what I want you to do on your little card, just on one side, because we'll be doing something on the other side later, I want you to write down two things. I want you to write one, your own creative expression, maybe something that you used to do that you've kind of stopped doing and you wish you were back doing, whatever that is. Remember, we talked about all the different things that constitute creativity. So, or maybe it's something you are currently doing that you want to feed and nourish and continue. So one thing that you know you're confident is one of your creative expressions. And then the second thing I want you to write on that same side of the card, what is something that would be new, a way of expressing that you've never done before? And if there's a little fear around it, that's probably the thing to pay attention to, right? What is something, for me, I keep thinking about dancing scares the heck out of me. So that's probably the thing I ought to try. So one thing that you know, you're solid, that is one of your creative expressions, and then the other is maybe something that would be new and challenge you a little bit. So I'll give you a few minutes, just jot those two things down on one side of your card. Okay, looks like everyone's got it. So is there anyone who would like to share what they wrote down? Not required, but just someone would like to share? Thank you.
Here we have speaking to the microphone.
Thank you, RJ.
Okay, one thing that I know that is my creative expression, or the thing that I do or have been doing, is I help create compassionate nurses who are knowledgeable and are rooted in loving kindness.
Oh, love that. Thank you. You want to give my mic ready? Someone else? We have time for maybe one or two more. It's not a competition. Look how we get.
Home as a sanctuary and cooking.
Uh-huh.
And did you want what?
I'd like to hear a stretch if somebody wants to, yeah.
Dance and song or chanting?
Oh, I'm with you. Okay, maybe we got to go dance. Song or chanting. Okay, great. One more. Oh, we have back here. Let's go.
Where should I go?
Let's go to the back. We need to balance our gender energy here.
Just to refresh my memory, the things we're responding to are?
Oh, what your personal creative expression is. How do you express creativity?
And what I do,
Yes.
what I want.
Yeah.
It came to me that I have truth thoughts. I have truth thoughts. And what I want to do is live the truth. And I think there is a disconnect there.
Okay, perfect. Can't get any better than that. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Do we have anyone else who would like to ask?
We had it here earlier.
I think we can do two, and
Yeah, we can do
then
two.
I'll need to move on. But
Okay, so what I consider creativity is my joy. And when I was younger and more agile, I could dance and just have it come out. And I felt a bit like a fairy or whatever, nature spirit. And I think for the stretch for me in my future will be writing, which is how do you bring joy into writing, into words, into that sort of challenging, medium.
does that feel a little scary to you?
It feels difficult.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. That's something to pay attention to. Yeah. All right. One more, and
We
then
have
we'll move
Kira.
on. Thank you.
I talk to people every day, and one of the things is taking somebody that's having a good day and making it better. And the second one is somebody that's having a bad day and with talking to them, turning it into a good day.
That's a great gift. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Let's hear it for all of our brave souls who shared. Thank you. Thank you. So the next piece that I want to have you do is thinking about things, writing stuff down is wonderful, but if you don't apply it, then it's just wishful thinking. So I want to have you maybe make some commitments. And what I know is that when you step out and you commit to doing something, the universe supports you in amazing ways. I mean, I said yes to this. I have all this other stuff going on. In fact, I'm leaving next week to go down to San Diego and deal with my parents. And, there's lots of stuff happening for me. But I knew we've talked about it for a long time. I knew that this was something that I was supposed to do. And I said yes to it. And so exactly what I was going to do or say or work with you all on, it just kept morphing. And so a couple days ago, I took me and all my objections, went to the gym. We always go as a committee. And everything was just not working. I got to the gym. They were resurfacing the basketball court floor, so there was dust everywhere. And all the machines I wanted were taken by somebody else. And, it was just bumping up against things. So I finally just said, I guess this isn't where I'm supposed to be. And so I always have my phone with me with my earbuds, and I listen to music. Well, I hadn't even gotten to that because this guy was hogging the elliptical, right? So I was not in my spiritual self. And so and the whole time I was thinking about this talk and what I was going to say and what I was going to do. And so I got into my car, and I kid you not, my phone just came on. The music came on, and my usual playlist at the gym is, all this rock and roll, move fast stuff, but the song Love, Serve, and Remember came on just spontaneously, it gives me chills telling you, spontaneously started to play. And that's exactly what I needed to hear to be here today. It didn't matter what I said. It was about showing up with love and being of service and remembering what I'm here to do and who I am. So I tell you that just to say that whatever you've written down today, if you set an intention and want to set something in motion, you will get the support you need. You just have to pay attention to it. I mean, having your phone spontaneously come on is pretty smack you in the face. You can't ignore that. but sometimes it's more subtle, so you do have to pay attention. So what I want you to do on the back side of your card is to think of one action, one active thing that you can do to move something forward in your particular area of creative expression. For me, I told you about my group that I host in my house and how that feeds me, and I know it feeds others. And the intention I set for myself is that I'm going to send an email tomorrow to my group and get a date on the calendar. It might be a month down the road because I'm going to be out of town, but I'm going to get a date on the calendar so that we will all be able to reconnect. So something like that. So take a few moments and think of one step that you can take to move forward your particular method of expressing your creativity. Does everyone have something written down? You may need more time. This is the critical piece, the commitment piece. You know, I guess I could have committed to going to some sort of a dance class, but I don't think I'm ready for that yet. It's got to be a step that you can and will take. You know, that's part of it too, the baby steps. Sometimes what we do when we want to you know, launch into some new way of expressing, we make it too big, and then we don't ever get there. So, you know, it's the little things, and they all add up. So I also will be doing a little mingling when I'm finished with my talk. And so those of you that didn't share in the big group, I know that's uncomfortable for some people, I invite you when we get up and move around to share with someone what you wrote down and maybe what you intend to do, because there's power in saying those things out loud. So I definitely encourage you to do that. So I'd like to close with a quote. I love my quotes. And I have two of them. One of them, Margaret Mead, I love this. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. So when we, I know, I love it. So in expressing your personal creativity, you can change the world in little bitty steps, little bitty bites. We don't even know. It's like that school teacher who didn't even know that they changed someone's life forever or created a lifelong memory. We don't always get to know who we impact or how. But by showing up in our full expression, by letting our creativity burst forth, then we create those ripples in the pond. And the last one that I want to share with you is another one of my fan favorites, Mother Teresa. Not all of us can do great things. Now, I don't completely agree with that, but this part, but we can do small things with great love. So my call to action to all of you is, I ask you, what will you go forward and do with great love and creativity?